Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.
Aloha, I'm Margarita Vienna.
I'm Michael Simajan.
I'm Deja Ibana. I'm Ashlyn Kulia Ikoi Amaral.
And I'm Kelsey Souza. We're in Ewa Beach on the island of Oahu, on the campus of the largest high school in all of Hawaii, James Campbell High School.
We are your home base for today's episode on HIKI NŌ, the nation's first statewide student news network.
HIKI NŌ means can do, and in this episode, you'll see what our schools in Hawaii can do with a camera, computer, and a lot of hard work.
This episode's team is made up of 8 different schools on 5 different islands across Hawaii.
From Molokai, we have Molokai High School.
From the Big Island of Hawaii, we have Hilo High School. From Maui, we have Lahaina Intermediate.
From Kauai, we have Kapa High School.
And from Oahu, we have Kauai, Waihona, auao Public Charter School, Waianae High School, Maryknoll School, and Mid-Pacific Institute.
Our Saber Media team at James Campbell High School in Ewa Beach will be your host for this episode of HIKI NŌ.
On this episode, you will hear from diverse voices across the island chain,
telling stories that connect communities. On HIKI NŌ,
can do. Before we introduce our first story, we'd like to recognize and thank our grant organizations that make HIKI NŌ possible.
They believed in the students of Hawaii and made it possible to create the nation's first statewide student network.
They put their faith in the future of Hawaii, its youth.
They believe in what we can do, and for that, we say mahalo.
And now, on with the show.
Now we go to Kauai, Waihona, auao Public Charter School, where they explain how landing a punch can be more than just an act of brutal force. Sometimes it can just be revealing a big secret. Such was the case with 8th grader Christian Pauling, who captured the ringside World Boxing Championship without hardly anyone knowing he was even a boxer.
He's been boxing for a year and a half. We're going on 2 years, in fact. But within that 2 years, he has accomplished way more than what I have accomplished. He's ringside world champion and PAL's national champion.
I didn't know he was a world champion boxer. I didn't know that. I really didn't.
Honestly, no. I didn't expect it. I thought I was at least gonna make it to at least somewhere to towards the semis. I didn't expect to take the whole thing.
He doesn't show off his boxing at all. He acts like a normal kid, like he's just like anybody.
I felt nervous because right before I went into the ring, I looked across the ring to see my opponent, and he was short, but he was real stocky, like he was built. So I thought I was inside the wrong ring. So I thought this was a different weight class. I thought he was heavier than me. But when I went inside and then we went up into the middle, I realized that I had a height advantage on him.
Yeah, Christian is a very sweet and kind boy, and he's very respectful towards adults. And from what I witnessed, he's very kind to his peers.
I always try to have him, one thing I always tell him about his fighting is that, you don't have to go around and show people that you're fighting. I want him to go out there, to be a servant, help people, meet people's needs.
Like when I don't get lunch, he offers food to me, sandwiches, all kind of different sandwiches.
I kind of wanted him, when I was fighting, I was a Christian fighter. I fought as a Christian.
He likes to help people because it's probably his Christian background, because Christians like to help people and pray for them and stuff like that.
Christian means Christ in one, so I think that's how I got my name.
On his next fight as champion, Christian Pauling didn't fare too well as he lost in 3 rounds.
Good learning experience for him because in order to become a champion, loss does not determine a champion. What he does after a loss determines what determines a person. You know, if he can learn from his mistakes, and you know, I think it's a good opportunity for him to learn.
Christian Puling will always be a champion in and out of the ring. Reporting for HIKI NŌ, I'm Zachary Carrero from Waihona, Auao Public Charter School.
Being a teacher isn't a decision made based on a paycheck. It's a sacrifice that Megan Garcia makes every day as an English teacher at Waianae High School.
Keep in mind, all people with dimples obviously are very attractive, so we know this kid is very attractive.
Megan Garcia knows how to joke around. She is an English teacher at Waianae High School who can be just like one of the students.
Can you tell them that one more time loud?
Losing 5% of her income and a reduction in health benefits, however, was no laughing matter.
We'll get back to that.
Because of budget cuts, the Hawaii state legislature was forced to create a contract that reduced government and teacher job salaries. Garcia is among the 9,000 no votes cast in January contract negotiations.
You're going on what the narrator is telling you.
A serious statement made by the teachers when it comes to their future.
Good. Brian, what'd you get?
I voted no because I didn't like the idea that I wasn't sure what the performance-based contract was going to be on.
The average starting salary for a teacher in Hawaii is around $40,000. The state cost of living, which includes housing, transportation, and food, is about $30,000, leaving teachers with roughly $700 a month or $24 a day to live.
Whether or not you're married or single, it doesn't really, you're hurting anyway for money.
For other single teachers just starting out, the pay cut was just too much to handle. Emily Kuba has been a special ed teacher at Waianae High School for 4 years and has been pinching pennies to make ends meet.
In Hawaii, as a teacher, I struggle just to pay my bills. My rent is $700 every month, and that's sharing with 2 people.
She isn't going to wait to see what happens next between the state and the teachers' union.
I'm planning to leave, and there are a lot of factors that have gone into it.
While teachers like Kubo have their plans, Garcia is left feeling singled out. Although she isn't supporting any kids at home, she finds support in her students.
Yes, that is both answers. So
I think the kids here are great. They, when you're with them all year, they kind of become like your family, so it's nice to have them around.
There is no certainty to when the contract will be finished or what will be included. At worst, leaving this English teacher with no way to plan for what lies ahead.
There's less money to go around. I mean, I don't have a family, but I do send money home to my family. I mean, I pay for phone bills and things like that.
I was just wondering that when Brian said that. I'll find out.
No matter if an agreement is reached, Garcia knows where she belongs.
Obviously, I'm not in it for the pay, otherwise I'd have a different job.
Manola Chentacum for Waianae High School for HIKI NŌ.
If you'd like to stay connected with HIKI NŌ, log on to our Facebook page. It's filled with photos and current info regarding the show. You can also follow us on Twitter at HIKI NŌ Can Do. It's a great way to get reminders about our upcoming episodes. For this next franchise piece, a first-year ceramics student at Molokai High School will share the 3 basic steps to throwing clay on the potter's wheel.
Hi, I'm James Duffy. Today we will be at Molokai High School with a first-time student going over the 3 fundamental rules to the arts of throwing clay. Step 1 is wedging. Wedging is very important because it eliminates any air bubbles. Air bubbles trapped in the clay will explode in the kiln. Step 2 is centering. You have to center so the clay flows in the middle of the bat. To center the clay, using your hands, brace the clay, forcing it to the middle. Once the clay is centered, you need to cone it up and master it back down to prepare for drilling the clay. Step 3 is drilling the clay. To drill the clay, you will begin by slowly pushing your fingers down the center. Do not get too close to the bottom. You need enough space to trim the bottom after it dries. Thank you for watching. We hope this helped inspire you to try ceramics at your school.
I'm standing outside Sabre Hall, Campbell High School's newest building that has just opened days ago. It's the largest high school in Hawaii's first air-conditioned building, and it will be outfitted with some of the newest educational technology. Now, for a story from Hilo High School about one student's obsession with the most popular sport in the world.
To some, soccer may be more than just a sport.
Soccer relieves stress by just getting away from everything and focusing on just soccer.
It has helped me a lot. It has taught me how to work with a team better and how to communicate with other people
like trying to understand others as well as like trying to get to know myself.
Like I can always count on my soccer sisters to help me out. You know that they're always there. Even the coaches, they're like fathers to us. Like they'll put you first no matter what.
For 16-year-old Li'i Mertens, soccer isn't just a sport, but it is her second family and her escape.
I actually met one of my best friends in soccer, and then I found out she actually went to my school, so we started hanging out both ways. And now she's one of my best friends that I can tell her pretty much anything.
Soccer has also given them a network of friends that they don't have to think about what's gone on at home. Not only express some of their frustration, but also build their confidence in who they are as a person.
To me, soccer is like life because you have to push past opponents to reach a goal. And they could be bigger than you and stronger than you, but you still pass them. You try your best.
For Li'i, her challenges go beyond just the soccer field.
I was married when I was 16 years old. And so we had one little boy, Hiva, and then 2 years later we had Li'i. And I married a man that was not very well.
My real dad, he was really abusive to my family, my mom and brother. So when my mom was pregnant with me, she realized that it's not safe for us to be with him. So she ended up running away.
Ever since I was born, like he would just like abuse my mom and like even like threw her down the stairs when I was younger. I remember that.
While I was pregnant with Li'i, we had separated. He was dating someone else at that time. My husband at the time murdered her son. Initially it was shock. Everything that we had ever done together I took into question, and how could I have allowed my children to be around somebody that was capable of doing those things, or allowed him to be the father of my children.
For me, mentally, I think that maybe since it was my dad did that, maybe I could possibly do that too if I started a family. So my mom would talk to me, and like my mom would tell me that I can never be like him because it's my choice to be who I want to, and that I should never doubt myself like that.
I think mainly soccer has been a distraction. It's also been an outlet for them to be physically active. So if they've had any pent-up anger or pent-up emotions about this, they can physically work through it.
Like playing soccer, it's really a physical sport, and so you gotta be aggressive sometimes, but you gotta learn when to hold back. And like, it's a team sport, so you learn how to work with others and to trust others. And we all have hard problems in life, like from past. We have a closer bond and we can understand each other more.
We've been through a whole bunch of things, and for them to have developed a way to positively deal with what's gone on in their lives is an accomplishment. I'm very proud of how they've chosen to cope with the things that they've been through.
Reporting for PBS HIKI NŌ, this is Baby Honda from Hilo High School.
If you'd like to stay connected with HIKI NŌ, log on to our Facebook page. It's filled with photos and current info regarding the show. You can also follow us on Twitter at HIKI NŌ Can Do. It's a great way to get reminders about our upcoming episodes.
I'm standing in Campbell High School's agriculture garden, where students learn to cultivate native plants and crops that will one day contribute to greater sustainability and independence for Hawaii. But enough about our school, let's hear from our ohana Maui about how they confront a problem faced by a lot of places on our islands. Estimates vary widely about the impact a single female cat can have on a local community. They can be related to somewhere between 100 and 420,000 cats in just 7 years. Here's a story from Lahaina Intermediate about a group on Maui that is striving to stop the epidemic of homeless pets.
According to themauigoodness.com, there are anywhere from 100,000 to 500,000 homeless cats on Maui. The SPCA Maui organization has come together to make an attempt at ending the pain and suffering of this population on Maui.
Our total focus is spay and neuter. And we feel with the overpopulation of animals throughout the country, on Maui what we want to focus on is prevention.
On January 8th, a spay and neuter clinic was held at the Maui Humane Society.
We've been in the planning stages for about 3 months at this point, from the time that we scheduled Dr. Hatt, who's our veterinarian. And then about 4 weeks ago is when we really started making reservations for the cats that are here today.
When the cat owners and collectors got to the clinic, they had to check in.
So I can't rule, I don't.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna put 3 in.
After they organized the cats, they sedated and shaved the females in the surgery room.
A lot of these cats live outside, and these females can get pregnant 6 times a year and have 6 kittens every litter. So it's really important to try to control the population here in Maui by having these female cats spayed.
After the tattooing in the room, they would be placed outside in their cage. Here they would recover.
So we're here on the recovery section of the surgical part of it.
We have over 25 additional volunteers here today.
And then when they're more alert, we'll call their families to come and pick them up. Well, I think we have 180 cats today that we're doing.
We're terrifically pleased today. Of course, we are always happy to have as many cats as we can. Our goal was 80, and it looks like we've doubled our goal, so I think we've done a really good job.
The volunteers and coordinators feel a spay and neuter clinic has made a positive impact on the community. Local residents know the overpopulation of homeless cats on Maui is a problem. This event will prevent the birth of hundreds, if not thousands, of unwanted cats in the future. This is Kaylee Harmon, Anise Bell, and Kaylin Matsuda from Lahaina Intermediate for HIKI NŌ.
Let's take a minute to listen to Maryknoll High School, where they will tell us exactly what it takes and how to be safe as a scientist.
Science is a process of discovering and exploring the natural world and trying to explain why things work in a logical way. To prove their theories, scientists conduct experiments. This can be a great way to make new discoveries, but many precautions need to be taken in a science laboratory. Wearing the proper safety gear, including goggles, gloves, covered shoes, hair tie, and lab coat, can protect the experimenter from any potential harm. There have been many discoveries made by scientists, including DNA, the theory of relativity, and the atom, all of which started in the lab. Even Albert Einstein had to wear goggles in his experiments. So remember, science can be fun and exciting, but you need to put safety first.
We're here at the Hawaiian Railway Society, a nonprofit organization dedicated to Hawaii's railway system. The railway system used to be a keystone for Hawaii's plantation economy. Here in Ewa remains the only operating railway system in the island of Oahu.
Now we travel to Kauai, where students from Kapa talk about 2 teachers with a unique hobby.
Science teacher Megan Ornelas Goodell and media teacher Michelle Runbacon are just your average teachers. But when the school bell rings, they love to hang out 20 feet above the ground.
I've been doing aerial silk for about 2 years. Without silk, I'm much more stressful,
I'm not as relaxed. My husband loves that I do aerial silk because he says that I'm happier. I've been doing aerial silk for about 4 years, and I love it. I really don't like to exercise, so it's a way of exercising without even thinking about it because you're just thinking about holding on.
Aerial dance is a type of performance where the dancers hang above the ground using special fabrics and ropes.
The most difficult thing about aerial silk for me is the artistic aspect. I have never been a dancer in my life, so that aspect of aerial silk was really hard for me.
If I spin in a routine, I usually feel like throwing up. So I choreograph all my routines so that I spin at the very end. Megan's the strong one. It's like she can climb up 30 feet with just her hands, and it's amazing.
Michelle has been a huge inspiration because without her, I wouldn't be doing this, honestly. And she reminds me about the dancing aspect of silk and Spanish web and how to make it look beautiful.
And now do a bird's nest.
With tests, meetings, and dealing with over 120 students each, aerial silk is a necessity.
I call Megan during lunch, recess. I'm like, are you gonna come to practice?
Yeah, it's something that we need. It keeps us going.
When I get done with work, I'm always thinking. I'm thinking about my students, about all the work I still have to do. And this makes me focus on one thing and stop thinking.
Megan practices aerial dance for the same reasons, but recently it became even more important.
So 2 weeks ago I had to apply for my position for next year because I'm in the last semester of my probationary period before making tenure. I just received a letter notifying me that I was not selected for the position next year. Upon reading the letter, my first emotion was surprise, shock. It's just been my life for 5 years.
Although she's still spinning from the shock, the thought of teaching hasn't left her mind.
The hardest part is going to be not seeing my students next year and my colleagues, so it'll be hard. But like climbing, we always get back up and keep on going and hold on and enjoy the ride along the way. You know, keep on climbing.
This is Tasha Napoleon from Kapa High with HIKI NŌ.
The word ewa means cricket in Hawaiian. The name comes from the myth that the gods Kana and Kanalua threw a stone to determine the boundaries, but was lost and later found at Piliokahe. For our last story, Mid-Pacific Institute has the scoops on Hawaii becoming the first state in the country to offer surfing as a high school sport.
Exciting change is coming to Hawaii high school sports with the addition of a recreational activity that has been practiced here for decades. Surfing will be added as a high school sport starting in the spring of 2013. This means that Hawaii will be the first state in the country that recognizes surfing as an organized high school sport.
I think surfing becoming an organized high school sport would be like a really cool idea because I've been surfing for most of my life and surfing has become my life pretty much.
It gets me really excited. It would let me surf more and let me represent my high school, doing something I love doing.
With surfing such a large part of Hawaiian culture, you may wonder why surfing wasn't added earlier.
I've been told it's been considered as a sport for decades, dating back to the 50s and 60s.
Surfing came from here, so I think it should have been a high school sport in the beginning, so it's good they finally brought it into schools.
Although school surf clubs have been competing for several years, surfing becoming an official high school sport has taken much longer because of issues dealing with safety, rules, scheduling, and of course, concerns about Mother Nature herself.
Certainly there's risk in surfing, but there's risk in many other sports as well, like football, soccer, basketball.
Liability, it's always a risk or a higher risk being out in the open ocean.
Safety measures will be implemented and both the coaches and the students who surf will be well trained and well prepared before they even enter the water.
Some students are worried that high school surfing will take away the fun of riding the waves.
I'd probably ditch surf practice at school if the waves were good, just because surfing is a very selfish sport. I say if the waves were really good that day and they're making you like work on cutbacks or something, then I'd rather go work on them by myself than work on it as a team.
It would kind of, I guess, limit freedom, because I guess I would have a coach telling me how to surf, and sometimes I just like to tell myself how to surf.
Questions such as how a champion would be determined and whether the sport would be available for both genders are on the minds of those interested in school surfing.
The plan is to have surfing available for both boys and girls with separate championships.
They would mirror it towards established events already, whether it's professional or amateur events. They have, I'm sure, a scoring system.
As with any sport, funding is crucial for its success.
We're looking to private sources of funding, whether it be corporations or individuals.
The school would probably provide everything that the athletes and coaches would need, all the way from the boards and rash guards and things like that. So typically we don't charge any of those costs to the athletes or the families.
So starting next year, high school students can expect a new sport on their campus, adding excitement for everyone. For HIKI NŌ, I'm Aaron Kiyotoki from Mid-Pacific Institute.
Well, that's it for this week's show. We hope you enjoyed the stories that were shared from around our islands.
So join us next week to see what the students of Hawaii can do.
Only on HIKI NŌ and only on PBS Hawaii.
We leave you today with a montage of the sights and sounds of our campus in Evan Beach.
Aloha!
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.